Last time I talked about EBF, I summarized the combat part of the game as an over-stylized Simon Says. Considering how much TLC went into every part of every game, I'm not going to make the same statement. Instead, I'm going to summarize the art and locations of the game as consistent. Now with that out of the way, let's dissect and overanalyze the ever-living fuck out of this masterpiece of audio-video entertainment. You want a proper playthrough? Too fucking bad, my dick doesn't usually give a fuck. Let's start with the first thing that hits us as we start a new game. Story. EBF was never a story-driven game. While there was always something to keep the plot going, the thing that kept you coming back for more was always the gameplay. That feeling of getting stronger and facing tougher and tougher enemies while finding new loot and trying out new tactics. That being said, we can't dismiss the story, because we actually have something I would rate a 6 out of 10 this time. That's 3 times as good as what I gave for EBF4. We start off with Matt playing a video game about some random nobodies doing whatever, when suddenly the power cuts out and there, we have motivation to do something. Revenge.
Revenge is motivation enough. At least it's honest.
I compared Soul Reaver 2 to this game last time story-wise, and obviously that is not a fair comparison.
I don't think I have the stomach for it.
Soul Reaver 2 is like the most beautiful castle you can imagine. You can't help but be amazed at its fine architecture and glorious design.
They fear what they don't understand, and they despise what they fear. But no, I do not hate them.
EBF5 is like a bouncy castle. It's fun. I'm still trying to figure out everything there is in Soul Reaver 2 and Legacy and Kain in general. As a story, it's untouchable in my opinion.
I see my reputation precedes me.
Yet, I have no intentions of playing the games.
It was fun while it lasted.
EBF5, on the other hand, is pure game. No enemy placed haphazardly, no equipment scattered without care, not a single block put in place without reason. As a player, these are things that are either expected or neglected. But as a game designer, which I am not, this game is a masterclass on pacing and balance. The game always gives you the tools to succeed, while giving you viable side grades that could potentially lead to further, stronger tactics. One good example that every player undoubtedly knows is No Leg's Riot Shield. It completely negates No Leg's gimmick of being a low HP, high evade character, counterattacks with a regular attack that puts weakened on enemies.
Fuck off!
And it also boosts dark attacks.
No
This thing isn't a piece of the puzzle, it's the whole manufacturing company.
Are you fucking... You were gonna pay for this bullshit! Is this how you were trained to fight? You're pathetic!
A few moments later.
You'll eat your last one, you motherfucker! You motherfucker just cried!
Bunga bunga!
Piece of shit!
Oh yeah, before I get too ahead of myself, this is No Legs. He's been around a long time, but for the first time we get to see him as a party member in EBF. He also comes with a unique set of physical attacks that deal damage by jumping. Now you might be saying, oh, I know what jump is. Dragoons have that. They spend the whole turn in the air, avoid any damage that they might take, and land with a powerful attack. I would not be surprised if that crossed Matt's mind while designing No Legs attacks, but ultimately we end up with this. No Legs hits the enemy 3 times. If the target dies, it switches targets, but also gains an additional attack, meaning that these attacks are the perfect cleanup tool for small targets while having the capability of a single strong attack. Before I go any further, we need to address the elephant in the room. EBF5 is mechanically different from its predecessors. One could argue that it set itself apart from most turn-based RPGs with its changes. You see, most RPGs are not that complicated. You fight, you kill, you carry on. Using skills and spells cost MP, and you need to do your best to manage your HP and MP between rests. EBF 1 and 2 follows this formula the closest. EBF 3, 4 and 5 has an overworld, and you regenerate your HP and MP while not in fights. So it's become less of a hassle to manage your MP. and it's more of a stay alive and kill the baddies kind of game. It also meant that weaker versions of spells become completely obsolete and do nothing other than take up space.
Gee, I hope nobody is taping this.
Matt decided to kill 2 birds with 1 stone and completely removed MP altogether in favor of cooldowns, and changed the skills so that upgrading them would automatically turn them into the stronger versions of themselves. Like in EBF4, Matt would have Tremor, and later Quake, and later Cataclysm. In EBF5, he only has Tremor, and upgrading it turns it into Quake and Cataclysm. Having cooldowns also allows skills to be stronger than others, with the downside of possibly not being able to use it again until the next fight, or at least for another turn. While in previous games it was, you could use this stronger skill, but it costs more money.
Bunga bunga!
Now let's talk about the biggest elephant in the room, the one that really shakes the RPG genre to its core. Summons.
Come Calamity.
In EBF4 you obtain summons like equipment and used SP to summon them.
Fuck! He's gone!
In EBF5 you enslave your enemies and they become your summons.
This one's deadly tired.
Oh cool, but how can I know which ones I can capture and which ones I can't?
Don't worry, there's a little red box next to enemies that can't be captured. But there are only a few of these, everything else can be captured.
Wait, everything? Even the bosses?
This one changes massive when it comes to battles. You can't just kill this thing, you haven't captured it yet. And don't tell me you don't need it. You need it. Your entire body is screaming at you when a boss dies instead of getting captured. Sure, you could get it later in the boss rush, but you could have it now. But you fucked it up and you don't have it now. You know, I told myself that I could make this review in a single episode. Nah, no chance. We go in multi-part, baby.